What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how wide receivers can beat a physical, overly aggressive one-on-ones DB. So we're going to be looking at maybe 4 specific examples here. We're going to talk about some unrealistic examples and why you guys should not need to worry about these specific situations that, are so heavily publicized, and what you should do against a realistic fake or press coverage DB who's going to get hands and be patient. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it teaches you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want to know some drills that you should be doing on the field to improve your route running, your press releases, check out that very first link in the description below for our 28-day on-field wide receiver workout plan. What you'll get access to is a 4-week daily schedule with sets, reps, and video examples of each on-field drill that we teach our receivers and that we would want you guys to do. So check out that very first link below if you're interested, fellas. Let's get started. So now, first things first here, this example, I've shown this on this page before. This is a clip from Destroying's one-on-ones that he did maybe a couple weeks ago, I believe. But this example right here is not the most realistic example. This is not what I'm trying to get you guys prepared for, because this is not what you guys will see in a game. So I'm going to play this thing full speed. Number 1, the DB is offsides. Number 2, this DB doesn't even react to the wide receiver. He hears the snap count and then bam, gets hands on him. This, honest to God, in a real game scenario, what if they would have gone on 2? This wide receiver did not move. He got hands before the wide receiver even reacted. So if the snap count is off, or if the quarterback were to go on 2 right here, and the DB's obviously not looking at the ball, that's a flag. It's not realistic football. I'm not trying to get you ready for these types of situations. I'm trying to get you ready for a disciplined DB who's actually going to play you physical in a real game scenario. You guys have to make one-on-ones as realistic as possible. That's the only way you could get better. At all of our camps that we do, any training that we do, when we do one-on-ones, we make sure that it's realistic. We do not let guys do this. We do not let wide receivers run 8 different moves. It goes both ways, right? Receivers and DBs. You both have to keep it realistic to get better at the situation. So this is not what I am talking about when I say physical DBs. What I'm talking about is this next example of Richard Sherman. This is an example of a disciplined physical DB, and that is what you guys will see at that next level. So let's play this thing full speed. So Sherman does a great job of staying patient, getting hands, rerouting this DB, and closing the space to make an easy play. So let's talk about this, right? So when you're going up against a press coverage DB, and he's going to be physical. He likes to get hands. He's maybe a rangy guy. You have to use your feet to set up any type of hand technique, any type of shoulder dip, anything. But you got to make sure that you have a plan with your feet and you're trying to sell something or try to threaten the DB vertically. Let's put it that way. So this DB's lined up inside shade, right? A little bit, not a ton, mainly head up, but I would say a little bit shaded to the inside. So if you have to run this stop route and you just take off and go run, a physical DB is going to get hands right into your chest and squeeze you all the way to that sideline. You see how he started here past just to the left of the red line right here? Look where he ends up at the top of this route. He ends up like a few yards to the right of the red line. That can't happen. That's not us getting skinny unless it's like a wide angle curl route. So we need to make sure that we have some kind of a plan off the line to avoid that DB squeezing me all the way to the sideline and being physical, because that is his number 1 goal when he is in press coverage. So maybe what he could have done here is actually threaten the DB to the inside. He's inside shade for a reason. He doesn't want to give up the inside, so maybe I give him a jab inside. Maybe I give him a crossover move inside. But something that might get him to hesitate, something that will hold him to the inside so I could get a free outside release and avoid that two-handed jam, if you will. So let's play this full speed, and then we'll show a good example of a wide receiver using a wide step release to move a DB who wants to be physical. So same example here. Richard Sherman up against a guy, DB's right up on that line of scrimmage, not given a space. And he has to run this dig route, but he ends up taking an inside release and using a wide step move. So DB wants to be physical. He's going to want to get hands. But if we can work him off of his platform, if we could threaten him vertically, whether that's to the inside or to the outside, that can get me a lot of space. Now, when I say threaten vertical, I don't mean like that's like running a fade almost. You want to make it maybe look like a fade on some releases, but you actually have to step outside of the DB's frame to get him to move. When he's a physical guy, any kind of press coverage, where's the DB's eye supposed to be? He's supposed to be watching your hips. So if you guys can do some kind of a move, sell with that upper body, actually step outside his frame and bring your upper body with the step, that is what will get the guy to move. So let's play this thing full speed. So this wide receiver does a great wide step and can get the DB off the platform so we could win even when he's trying to be physical. So he comes off the ball. A wide step release is when you just step. You've probably heard me talk about this if you're familiar with our channel, is where you step with the back foot wide outside the DB's frame to try to threaten vertically to make it look like you're just doing a speed release to the outside. Exactly what that wide receiver did in the last example. So we hit this wide step, we get that DB to jump, and fellas, if he wants to get physical and get hands, but we get him to move off that platform, that's easy money. All it takes is one swat of the hands and his hips will lock out and we could get up into this break. So fellas, the feet set up the hands. A lot of times, receiver coaches will get asked like, oh, well, coach, how do I beat a physical DB? And they'll say, oh, your hand technique is important. You got to swat the hands. You got to fight the hands. You got to have a plan for your hands. But you guys need to understand that the feet will set up the hands. If I can move this DB off the platform to the outside, right, and I want to take an inside release, which hand do I have to beat? I just got to beat the inside hand. If I just sit there without a plan with my feet, he's going to get two hands and I'm just going to spend wasted time trying to fight his hands. We have to move him off the platform and beat the hand to the side of the release I want to go. So let's say you wanted to take an outside release in this example. You could give him a jab inside. You seldom move to the inside. Maybe this DB jumps. Then what hand would you have to beat? You'd have to beat his left hand. So you could swat with the left over the top. You could dip the shoulder and rip under. You could swat with your right arm and shoot over the top. There are a million different things you could do with your hands. You just got to know to set him up with the feet to make it easier on yourself. You sell with the feet, sell with the upper body, and the hands are almost just like a reaction. Know which hand you have to beat. To take an outside release, you got to beat his outside hand. To take an inside release, you got to beat his inside hand. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time, then we'll show one more example of what you can do against a DB who's a little bit more patient, but also physical. So now, this example here is from when Sherman does get hands on this guy and we don't maybe move him off the platform. He kind of lunges and jumps at us. So as a wide receiver, especially if you're on the shorter side of things, your pad level is incredibly important. You cannot stand up off the line. You cannot pop your chest up off the line because all that does is expose your number, if you will, and you're going to get jammed 5 yards back. You have to make sure that we stay in an explosive spot. So if this DB does get hands on me, I'm not completely knocked off of this break. So let's play this full speed. So Sherman decides to jam right off the line, but you see how off balance he is when he lunges. Fellas, we should be thankful when a DB lunges at me because that means that he loses his base. And again, this is one of those things, like if you're going up against one-on-ones, and maybe it's one of those unrealistic situations like that very first clip that we saw, and you're right up on the line, DB's right up on the line, step off the ball. Give yourself some room because, again, if he wants to lunge and he wants to get physical, he's got to go way over that line, and then he will be off balance. So we have to make sure, fellas, we have a plan, and I'm balanced off the line. Good pad level position. Because now when you see Richard Sherman shoot, he's got no base. He's up tall, but this wide receiver is able to stay low. He's able to shrug the hands off. And again, you see when we're able to get those hands off and be quick because I'm in a good pad level, because I have a plan, how off balance the DB is. That is separation right there, fellas, solely because he kept a good balanced position off the line and didn't stand up. When you guys stand up off the line, that's when bad things happen and you get jammed back when that DB lunges at you. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. That's a great job by this wide receiver, keeping a good pad level, not letting that jab affect his route and getting back up on the slant. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. Always great to hear from you guys as usual. And again, fellas, if you'd like a 4-week daily on-field wide receiver workout schedule, everything you should do for route running, press releases, hands, broken down with sets and reps, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.